Welcome to Business Made Simple. It's the daily video designed to make you money, save you money, or somehow advance your career. How can a creative person, how can a visionary, how can somebody who's not a details person actually manage money for their company and make it work? Well, I highly recommend having a CFO or a fractional CFO. You, of course, need accountants to run your QuickBooks, and you need people to keep you safe with the IRS. But after that, how do you actually, because a lot of us are just visionary leaders, we're thinking about 50,000 feet, and we're not the sort of people who get excited about going through the details of money management. I have a system that is awesome. I learned part of it from Mike Michalowicz in his book Profit First, which I highly recommend reading. But here's what I do. I have 4 bank accounts, and I think you should open 4 different bank accounts, and here's how I think you should use them. The very first bank account is your operating account. We just call it the business account. So this is the money that everything flows into this operating account, right? And that's the checks are being written out of that, payroll is coming out of that, all your stuff is being paid out of that operating account. I believe that operating account should have, and out of that operating account, you're going to take a monthly or biweekly salary, and that's going to go into your next account. That is your personal checking account. So your money's going to come out of there. Your salary, which you need to decide what it's going to be, comes out of that regardless, and that's your personal checking account. Then there are 2 more accounts that you need to set up. The first is a tax account. That's the money that you're going to pay the government. And the 4th account is a profit account. So we have the operating account, we have the personal checking account, we have the tax account, and then we have the profit account. And here's how I use them. All the money flows in and out of the operating account. Now, if I'm making a profit, that operating account is going to get really high. For me personally, I have a high watermark of $100,000. When that operating account goes above $100,000, let's say it goes to $150,000, I actually take $25,000 and I put it in profit, and $25,000 and I put it in taxes. In other words, anything over the high water mark in that account gets split between the government and me, because I pay about 50% of every piece of profit we make goes to the United States government, which is ridiculous. It's another topic. Hedge fund managers pay 11% on only what they spend. You pay probably close to 50 on every bit of profit that you make. It's wrong, and I'm trying to lobby some congressmen and senators to change that on your behalf, but we can't change that right now, and that's not what this is about. When you actually make above that 100 grand, and 100 grand is right for me, it might be 5,000 or 25 or 35,000 for you, it just depends on how big your business is. Mine's 10 million, I've run it 100 grand from 3 million to 10 million, and it's never changed. I have to monitor my accounts a little more frequently, but I still haven't raised the high water mark, and I might do that soon. So that's a really safe, easy way. You always have money for taxes. You're never surprised when the government comes. They come quarterly. You have money in profit, and then you are getting your salary. Betsy and I actually take about 5% of the profit from the company. That's our salary. The other 95% goes between the government and a profit account. Now, that's the basic way to do it. And the profit account is just a savings account. Now, what you want to do with that profit account, though, is every once in a while you just want to empty it. And you want to empty it into assets. You want to buy a duplex. You want to put it into stock. You want to buy life insurance. You want to do whatever you want. Whatever kind of asset that you're comfortable with that is going to make you money without having to work. The purpose of your business is to get 25% of your profit, or about 25%, because you're splitting that with the government, into that profit account so that you can buy an asset that makes you more money. That's the sole purpose of the business. If you're smart, your business exists, one, to serve your customers and all that, but your money flows into that profit account so that it can go to something else that makes you more money, and the business exists to actually buy those assets that make you money without working. And for me, I'm buying those assets so I can make money without working, so that when I turn about 60, I can begin to spend them all on a lot of charitable giving, a lot of political involvement, a lot of stuff that has high leverage and high impact once I know my family is completely taken care of. So I'm building something for the future. Now, you also have to realize that, Betsy and I, we do a lot of charitable giving out of our profit. But it's actually, it's a fair chunk of charitable giving. But I'm also smart in the sense that if I give $5,000 in charitable giving, I'm not just giving $5,000 that month in charitable giving. I'm not putting that $5,000 into the asset that would have made me more money over time. And so that's why a lot of times rich people, they put money in these assets and they actually give a percentage of the profit off the assets, not a percentage of the profit off of their business. We do it both ways. We give a lot of charitable giving right off the top, but then I'm also putting money into assets that goes back into charitable giving because I know in the long run that's going to impact more lives. So but the very basic thing you want to do first is have these 4 accounts: your operating account, your personal checking account, your profit account, and your tax account. And that really lets you see just in one bank statement when you go online the health of your company. Sometimes that personal or that operating account is down to 40 grand. Well, that's a little bit scary. We got payroll coming up, right? So I don't take any money out, and it may be 6 weeks before I take any money out. And then we see it dip over the top, and the water begins flowing back into profit and tax, and then I manage those differently. There's a 5th account. It's my personal savings account. Even though we live off 5% of the profit that the company makes, we actually have a savings account, and we save a little bit of money every month because I think it's just wise. We live like we are on a small salary, and then the rest goes into assets and charitable giving and future projects that I want to do down the road. That's just and look, I'm a creative person and I'm a visionary. I do like looking at numbers and diving into numbers, but it's not my favorite thing. But that system has kept me completely out of trouble. We got audited one year, many years ago, and at the end of the audit, it's a terrible process and it's painful and I'm scared the whole time. The end of the audit, the IRS owed me money. The IRS had to write me a check for thousands of dollars because we had kept our books so clean. And that was a nice moment, by the way. And I hope something like that, if you ever get audited, happens to you. You don't have to stress about money. That's the right way to make the money flow, to water all the crops and keep the farm going. And I hope that's helpful for you. Today's simple tip: establish at least 4 bank accounts and manage your money from a high level so that you stay out of trouble.